Good morning, folks, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, whichever it may be for you. If you've never been here before, then welcome. If you have, welcome back. Those who know me as Mara Nightingale. So yeah, you can call me Mara. This is a WIP and Chat. As you can see, I've got just one little square left here. This is my flowers. And I'm looking forward to finishing this and starting on my Aquarius from Jacquaroo. And now I'm trying to remember in all of my WIP and Chats to start off with birthday and horoscope. So today is Friday, December 13th. Ooh. So today, Friday, December 13th, you are bold, fearless, venturesome, and impetuous. Ooh. Make decisions quickly and act on them immediately. You have the respect and esteem of all, and your opinions are always desired and respected. You have many friends, and your home life will always be happy. Ooh, that sounds nice. So any of you out there that have a birthday today, happy birthday. Yay. And we're going to get started. As you can see, I'm all ready. And please forgive the angle, all of that stuff. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll know that what I normally like to actually use for my WIP and Chats, for holding my phone, so angling it from up above, that broke yesterday, which is a bummer. So I'm gonna have to find a new one. That one, anybody who wants to know, that one in particular, it was a gift from a friend many years ago, before I even knew about diamond painting. So yeah, I think it was like in 2018. Yeah, 2018, 2019, something like that. Yeah, somewhere around there is when she gave it to me as a gift. She got it, I most likely she bought it either at Walmart or Wish. Probably Wish, because she was kind of addicted to shopping on Wish. Yeah. She had a lot of stuff from Wish. So anyways, let's get started. Woohoo! I'm going to start with F. This last row, I've just been like working like from like the bottom up. Excuse me, and because F is the one that's the most, and F is 939. I've been doing the F first because it's like, yeah, the biggest number. Yeah, so, oopsie. Depending on how long it takes for me to get this done, I might even start on the other one in this WIP and Chat. Actually, nah. When I'm done this square, I'll end the video and then I'll just start a new video with my Aquarius. Maybe. I don't know. I have a tendency of changing my mind a lot. Anyways, let's just stop procrastinating and get going. I am good at procrastinating. I'm also pretty good at not finishing things. Yeah, the reason you're probably wondering why I have no videos of like framing, sealing and framing of diamond paintings, because I don't really do that. I do have a few that because it's because the majority of the diamond paintings, when I'm finished them, I package them up and I ship them in bulk to my friend in Colorado. Those of you who have been around for a while should most likely remember me. I've talking about her. I mention her in just about every video. Yeah, when I'm done, when I'm a canvas, I package it up. I set it aside with. I put it in storage with the other ones that I've completed, and every few months I will package a large amount up, and I will ship them to her. And between her and her husband, they seal the diamond paintings, and he frames them. And then they do with them as they wish. They sell them, give them away as gifts, or keep them. It's the main reason why I do that is because I live in a fifth wheel. I don't have enough space to store like all of these diamond paintings. I have no way of displaying them all because it's a lot. Because like my wall space is like very, very, very extremely limited. I've got like a tiny bit of space here, a tiny bit of space there, because I have a lot of windows and a lot of cupboards. And the cupboards all have glass. They're glass doors. They have glass doors. Like wooden frame with glass in the middle of the doors. Like of the little cupboards. The bigger cupboards, like it's like oh my goodness, I'm trying to think of the word. Well, I have like a hall closet that has mirrors on the doors. I have a little closet just inside the door for coats and footwear that has a mirror on it as well. So, oh goodness. So, actually, I really don't know if, yeah, the others, the little ones, just, it's glass, but it's like a smoky glass, so it's really difficult to see through. Yeah. And, yeah, and then the one big wall, it's not that big, but it's got a mirror on it, right in the smack dab in the middle of it. Yeah, so I actually have a couple of pictures hanging above the mirror. One is a picture, a really old antique picture, in an antique picture frame of my grandparents, my dad's mom and dad, from like long time ago. Obviously, it's an antique. And the other one, I have to turn around and look. It's one of those divided picture frames. It's got 5 ovals. The one in the middle is a picture of my mom and dad. 3 of the outer ovals, there's one of me, one of my brother, one of my sister, and then the 5th and final oval is a group picture of the 3 of us kids. Yeah. So I've got that on the wall as well. I have in the hall closet, I have a picture frame it's a long picture frame, and it's divided into 3 pictures, and there's a picture of each of my 3 children. Unfortunately, there's nowhere for me to hang it. Dang it. In this place. That's why it's in the closet. um, which is unfortunate. I do have certain diamond paintings hanging. I've got like 2 hanging in the closet, hanging off on hangers. They're clipped to hangers. I've got one hanging clipped to a hanger in here. It's a really long one that actually I need to do some repair work to it. Some drills came off at some point during my move into here. And then I've got my scorpion from Jacquaroo. That's also clipped to a hanger. And I've got my Taj Mahal. That is hanging from a doorknob, cupboard door knob. It's pre-framed, so it's hanging from the frame. Then I've also got my Scorpio, my Libra diamond dots. Yeah, diamond dots. I've got that hanging over. I've got it pinned kind of over the window beside the door. So I actually need to seal those. Haven't sealed them yet. I did do a video a few weeks ago from when a couple of weeks ago. Oops, darn it. Just knocked a drill over. Let's see. Yeah, yay. Was able to save it. So it doesn't end up going with the stray drills. Yeah, one of these days I gotta actually get down on my hands and knees with a flashlight and find all the drills that are on the floor. When I was doing my partial flowers, because I do partials like that, I use tweezers because most of the drills are like crystals or rhinestones. I don't use a pen. I use my tweezers, and yeah, quite a few actually, they just pa-ching and disappear and reappear on the floor mysteriously. Go figure. So yeah, it happens once in a blue moon. It happens with regular drills when I accidentally bump the tray or something happens and they just mysteriously disappear and reappear on the floor. And I know there are some of you that are nodding going, yeah, I agree, happens to me too. They disappear and reappear on the floor, or in my socks, or in my hair. Oh my goodness, there was one day, I do not remember what canvas it was, but it wasn't that long ago. I was working on it, and I went to get up, and I accidentally bumped the canvas, and I had a tray like this, and I bumped the canvas, because it was hanging over, so it was long. It was a longer one, so it might have been my pink monster. But anyways, I was either getting up or sitting down, and I bumped the canvas, and the tray had a lot more drills than this, and they just ended up everywhere on my lap and down on the floor below the table. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, Peaches was under there. For those of you who are new, don't know, Peaches is my cat. He's my old fluffy orange tabby cat rescue. Yeah, so he ended up filled with drills. He loved it because I'm sitting here petting him, and he thought it was just I was just loving on him, but I had ulterior motives to petting him. I'm like petting him and running my fingers through his fur, and oh, here's a drill, pick it out. I had a tray full of drills and cat hair. Oh, but he was purring like crazy. Oh, he was happy. He is a very loving and affectionate cat. I've never had a cat that was that loving and affectionate. Maybe it's because he's an orange tabby, and orange tabbies has never been. I've never been a big fan of orange tabbies. I honestly don't know why. I really don't know why. My favorite breed of cat is a tortoise shell. Because it was my mom's favorite breed of cat. So there was always one in the house when I was growing up. And named Autumn. And when my mom passed away, Autumn basically became my cat. My sister did not like that. She was jealous. So she got her own cat. And unfortunately, her cat was not fixed when she got it. And yeah, her cat, well, one day ended up having a litter of kittens. Had 5 kittens. So Mama Cat, her name was Tequila. Let's see if I can remember the names of all 5 of the kittens. Probably not. There was a male named Tazzledink. Taz for short. He was my favorite. He had like long fluffy gray fur, but in the light it had like a purplish tint to it. Oh, he was so pretty. But he found a home just kind of across this next door to the house across the street, and unfortunately he got stuck outside one night and it froze and he froze. Yeah, it was sad because I really liked him. Anyways, so there was Tazzledink. And there was, yeah, I think the only other one I can remember the name of is Semi, which was actually short for Semisonicinda. She came up with the weirdest names for her pets, for her cats. But yeah, Semi was actually, there was 2 of them were almost identical twins, orange tabbies. But yeah, Semi, I wish I could remember the names of the others because yeah, they were really unusual names. I used to remember all of the names, but because I haven't said the names or even thought of the names for many, many years, I've forgotten them, except for those 2. Yeah, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so she was able to find homes for the males, which those 2 were the males. So she was stuck with couldn't find homes for the 3 females, and of course they were not fixed, so they ended up having kittens, and before you know it, we had almost 20 cats and kittens in the house. My dad was never really a cat person. He had a cat growing up, and he hated it because it was the only female in the neighborhood, and I don't think it was fixed because yeah, most likely was not fixed. Because yeah, his cat, she'd come home and a bunch of toms would follow it into the house. Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, her cat had a whole bunch of kittens, and then one day my dad's like, yeah, this is too much. So he had the SPCA come and pick up a whole bunch all but one mama cat and kitten. And yeah, it was almost, they took almost 20 cats and kittens. But yeah, he allowed my sister to keep one cat and one kitten. Nowadays, and I used to think that I was going to be the one to grow up to be the crazy cat lady of the family. Well, my sister is definitely the crazy cat lady of the family. Go figure. Now, she owns her own home. It may be a mobile home, but it's still a home. She owns her own car. She has a Mustang. Let's see, she's always been a very independent person. With no filter on her mouth. She has no qualms about giving her 2 bits. And she's quick too. With in those regards. Yeah, she's really quick to you piss her off and look out. She'll give you a tongue lashing like that you will never forget. Unfortunately, she was physically abusive towards me when we were little, and it was because I'm the exact opposite. Like I'm terrified of confrontation. But yeah, I am terrified of confrontation. And I think it might be because of her, honestly. Now that I'm voicing this, like talking about it out loud, yeah, this might explain why, because yeah, she would get frustrated and pissed off, and she'd hit me with her hand or with an object or whatever. And our younger brother, he was so little, and he was always tried to be protective of me. But yeah, our sister was just like, she's older. She's like 2 years older than me. So I'm 48. No, I'm 47. She's 49. Yeah, she's 49. Yeah, she's 49. She's turning 50 next year. In just like 3 months. Her birthday's in March. Yeah, so yeah, if I said or did something that pissed her off, she'd let me know. Unfortunately, because our mom was so sick, she quite often was the main female parental figure in my life growing up, which of course is really difficult and stressful, and like no child really should have to take on that role. My dad didn't like the fact that that things happened the way they did, because he's always had a young soul. My dad has always had a young soul. Like he would wake us up late at night to watch Garfield. Yeah, to watch Garfield cartoons. He loves a good joke. He loves joking around. Like verbal jokes, not physical jokes. He's always been a verbal jokester. And, but like with my mom being as sick as she was, it was hard because he worked really hard, um, for the railroad, and there were times when they would send him away for days and weeks on end for work, and she'd be stuck at home taking care of us kids, which was really, really hard because my sister never liked being told what to do, still doesn't really like being told what to do. And my sister always preferred being the boss. And mom used to like, she used to be very active. She was a very active person. She did a lot of stuff in the community. My parents were good friends with the mayor back then. And I still remember his name. I don't remember him, but I remember his name, and I kind of remember what he looks like. But yeah, because he was a good mayor, the mayor that we had back then. But anyways, yeah, so it was very stressful on my mom with her being so sick, and being limited with what she was able to do. Yeah, she went from being very active and energetic and just a joy to be around, to struggling from day to day. Oh goodness, I gotta change my putty. So this is how I change my putty. I use these tweezers, my Tweezerman tweezers. I pull the putty out, drop it in there. I'm just gonna do the one. And my Meow Clout alien putty. And this is it. There's some little streaks of white. There's some little streaks of pink. A little bit of like a darker pink and some purple. And it's mostly blue. Mostly blue. And there's a little corner. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, no, the lighting isn't bright enough. But there is one little corner. The top left-hand corner has a little gap, because that's where I've been working from with my putty. So, oh, that's probably too much. So I grab a nice little chunk with my tweezers, with my Tweezerman tweezers. Oh, darn it. Yeah, it's a big chunk, but... And then I just, whoa, push it in there. Push, push, push. That's what she said. Sorry, it just popped into my head. Okay. Squishy squish as much of it as I can into the tip. Come on, come on. I hope I can remember what I was talking about. And that should do it. Oh, goodness. So this tip, unfortunately, is kind of loose. Okay, so I gotta break off another little chunk. Oops, that was a bit too much. Sometimes it's difficult to get it just right. Just the right amount. But that should do it. Yeah. I'm gonna have little bits coming off. Yeah, so I have been working with this clout for a few months now. I can't remember when when oh, I'm terrible with names, personal names, but when Meow first came out with the clout, and it was like, what was it like? For me, I think it was like $6 or $7. It was like super cheap, but it still ended up costing me almost $30 because of shipping. Shipping to Canada sucks. Unless the company is located in Canada, then it's not as bad. But I got this when it first came out. Because it was such a super awesome good deal. So I've been working with just this since then. And it says it's 10 grams. So, yeah. Sometime next year, I am definitely going to get some others when I can afford it. At least one other, maybe. There are so many options. So many options. I would love to get... Heck, I just recently learned about the travel packs. I would love to get that. And each travel pack has like a small chunk of 6 different, I wanted to say flavors, 6 different varieties. Now, if I have to go onto the actual website to take a look, but through Etsy, through the Etsy shop, I think all you can get is the clout through Etsy. So I have to go to the actual website for Meow and see. But yeah, I want to see about getting the travel packs, and like each travel pack, like get like 6 of each, like a chunk of each. That would be awesome, because then once with the variety pack, then I can go, okay, well, I'll try this one. Well, I really like this one. Okay, so then I'll try another one. Well, I really like this one as well. Try another one. No, this one not really working for me. So, but like I would set up a specific travel pack, specific of the ones that I really like, and then get those actual ones, like a nice, like a regular size container of those ones, and all of that, all those goodies. And oh, I got a lot of ends. Let's see. I'm gonna move you a little bit closer here. There. Yeah, there we go. Now you're right in the middle of the shot. Although my hand does block some of it. Sorry about that, but this is how I do my canvases. I notice a lot of people, there are a lot of people, they have the tray like so far away from where they're working, and it's a lot of work, right? Like others, they just have the tray, and then I find if I'm not holding the tray, it'll move around. I think it's also because it's such a small tray. But I do that with the big tray too. Anyways, so where was I? I was talking about, yeah, my mom and my sister. So my mom, yeah, my mom was a very smart woman. She was a very independent, very strong, independent woman. Her parents, my grandparents, they were very, yeah. They were not very close with my mom. My mom was the oldest of their 3 children. There was my mom, my aunt, and my uncle. My aunt and my uncle are still alive. They're both married with 1 child each. My aunt, She's on her second marriage. Well, they've been married for a very long time. Her first marriage didn't last very long. They were married for a few years. They actually lived in this town that I'm living in. My aunt and her first husband. They had a beautiful log cabin, and it burnt down one day. Yeah. And yeah, not long after that, if memory serves me correctly, their marriage ended. Yeah. But when they lived in this town, my grandparents, my mom's mom and dad, they would come here and visit my aunt and uncle, and like they'd be here for like a month visiting. And during that month, they'd come and visit us for like an afternoon. Yeah. Weird, hey? They would, they traveled a lot after my grandpa, after my grandfather retired, and my grandmother retired. I honestly didn't know that my grandmother ever had a job. I thought she was like a housewife, like, like always a housewife. They were married for just over 50 years. We didn't go to their 50th anniversary. I don't know why. It was probably because my dad was working. And us kids were, I don't know. But anyways, I learned a fair bit about my grandmother from her celebration of life. My aunt hosted her celebration of life. They did a live celebration of life where everybody came, and then she did a celebration of life over Zoom for those who were unable to make it. My sister, she went to the live event, which was held on Vancouver Island in Victoria. And I was unable to make it, so I was on the Zoom. There was actually supposed to be another person on the Zoom, but time differences just didn't work out, so it actually ended up just being myself and my aunt. And I hadn't spoken to my aunt in many, many years. So it was really nice getting to learn about my aunt, my grandmother, what kind of person she was, the kind of work that she used to do, the fact that my grandparents used to ice skate. That was pretty cool. Yeah, apparently on their 50th anniversary, they went ice skating, and yeah, they used to love to dance. And yeah, my grandparents, they were closer to my aunt and uncle than they were to my mom. But I have very few good memories of my grandparents because we just didn't see them that often. But every visit was a good memory. They did take my brother and I on a road trip once. We went up north. We went to, I remember we went to Prince Albert because my great aunt and my great uncle lived there. My grandmother's sister and brother-in-law. My great aunt, she was an elementary school teacher before she retired. And I actually really enjoyed sitting and listening to her talk. But she ended up with, a few years later, she ended up with Alzheimer's. And it ended up, yeah, it became so bad that, like, my great uncle would hand her a spoon and ask her to put that on the table. And that was pretty much the extent of what she was able to do, as an example of, yeah, which is pretty sad. And then not long after that, she passed away. Well, my great uncle, he has since remarried. But yeah, so anyways, we went and we visited with them and stayed with them for like 2-3 days, during which time, like, they had a record player, and my great uncle had the complete collection of Beethoven's concerts, music. So he gave me a bunch of blank cassettes, and he let me copy a bunch of the records, so that I had the music for myself to listen to whenever I wanted to, I was super excited because I love classical music, and Beethoven's one of my favorite. And I played those cassettes till they wore out. Yeah. My favorite were his 5th and his 9th symphonies. I believe his 9th symphony is the one that's known the most, is the most well known. But yeah, we while we were visiting with them, my grandparents were known as lapidarists. A lapidarist is a rock and gem collector. And yeah, they were rock and gem collectors. So there was a rock and gem show going on in the town where my great aunt and great uncle lived. So that's why, that was the other reason. That was probably the main reason why we were there, because of the rock and gem show. And it just happened that it was in they lived there. Because my grandparents, that's just how they were in my like, from my memory. But we did have a nice visit with our grandparents. And when my grandfather passed away, I was actually pregnant with my first child, with my oldest girl, Brooke. And I was staying at a group home for young pregnant girls in Kamloops, British Columbia. It no longer exists. The group home was dissolved. I don't know how many years later. It was being run by the Alliance Church, but it was kind of like non-affiliated type deal. But they ran out of funding, so they it's now like a seniors home, or it was. It became a seniors home. But anyways, yeah. So I was staying at this group home for young pregnant girls. I was one of the oldest girls there. I was 18. And I actually celebrated my 19th birthday while I was there. And I'll get into that in a minute. But when, so my grandfather, he passed away in September. So my dad and my brother, they came. My sister was in Australia at the time that our grandfather passed away. She was in Australia visiting our aunt, my mom's sister. And so my dad and my brother, they came and picked me up from the house in Kamloops. And we went to, oh goodness, it was either Richmond, Richmond. Yeah, they lived in Richmond. My grandparents had a house in Richmond. So we went and we stayed at their place for the weekend. My aunt she flew back from Australia for the weekend, and our uncle, him and his ex-girlfriend, came from up north. I'm thinking Duncan, but I don't remember exactly. I'm guessing Duncan was where he was living at the time. Anyways, so they came, and we just had a family gathering, a small family gathering. There was no funeral or anything like that. It was just an immediate family. And and it was just for the weekend. The reason my sister didn't come back from Australia with our aunt was because she, at the time that this happened, she was doing this backpack experience known as the Oz experience, where you travel across the eastern coast of Australia, and you stay at like hostels and bed and breakfasts. And at one point she even went bungee jumping. I think that's where she went bungee jumping. I really can't remember, but yeah, my sister's the free spirit. She's the one, of the three of us kids, she's the one that traveled around in Europe, and yeah. And it was because of her experiences in Australia that made her decide to do that. But anyways, yeah, so she was unable to come back for that because she didn't know about our grandpa until after she was done the Oz experience and met back up with our aunt. And of course, by that time, it was all over and done with. But yeah, it was a nice weekend. It was a nice visit with everybody. Yeah, that was in 1996 that he passed away. He had cancer in the lining of his lungs. He never smoked a day in his life. Never smoked anything a day at all. Ever. But yeah, it was in the lining of his lungs and in the bones of one of his legs. And he passed away less than a year after being diagnosed. And yeah, almost exactly 9 years after my mom passed away. Because my mom passed away in September of 1987. A month before my 10th birthday. Yeah, I have a weird way of remembering ages and dates and stuff. Well, I don't know if it's actually weird, but it works for me. My dad is a year younger than my mom. My mom was 40. She was 30 when she had me. She was 40 when she passed away. So my dad was 29 when I was born. He was 39 when my mom passed away. So that means she was born in 1947. He was born in 1948. My oldest child, my daughter Brooke, she was born in 97. I was 19 when I had her. She was 9 when I had her sister, my daughter Emily. And she was born in 2006. My son was born in 2008. I do have memory problems with trying to remember the ages and dates of my two younger children, Emily and Jonathan, because they were not in my life for very long. They are both still alive. They're both teenagers. It's just they were taken from me by the Ministry for Children and Family Development. In the States, they're known as CPS, Child Protective Services. Yeah. They took them away from me because they felt that I was not capable of taking care of them properly, even though they had a roof over their heads, they had clothing that fit and was clean and like not ripped or anything like that. They had beds. They had a bed. They each had a bed. They were well fed. They were very well cared for in my care. But there's always a but. At the time that that things were going on, and they just took the kids from me. Their father was had been arrested, and he actually had primary custody of them. So he was in jail, and the ministry decided that because at that point in time in my life, I was trying to kick a drug addiction. Excuse me. They felt that I was not going to be, that I was in, oh my goodness, excuse me. That I was incapable of taking care of my children properly. Now, my oldest was actually at that point in time, she was staying at his place too, because I was trying to kick my addiction, trying to get my life straightened out, but like I still had visits with my kids, and I was living in a place where where my two youngest, they shared a room. There was a bed in there for each of them. They each had a queen size bed in their bed in this one, and it was the biggest bedroom in the house. And then Brooke, she had her own room. She had the smallest room in the house, and she said she was fine with that. Her room did not have a closet. She was fine with that. It was big enough for a single size bed, a desk, and a dresser, and a nightstand. And she loved her little bedroom because it was her personal space. And she loved that little room. Her brother and sister, they had the biggest room, and the two queen size beds took up the majority of the room. Yeah. And they didn't get to they didn't sleep in that room very much, because I didn't get them very often when I lived in that place. But yeah, I was still associating with some bad people. More dumb than bad, I guess you could say. But I was trying to straighten my life out, but not doing a very good job of it. Like the ministry, they're supposed to be there to help. They hindered more than helped. And I actually found out just a few years ago that, like, because of how they handled my case, I could have sued them and gotten a nice big chunk of money. Because they really screwed my life over. Like, I could have sued them and gotten my kids back, and, well, maybe gotten my kids back. I don't know. My kids, Emily and Jonathan, honestly, they are better off than where they are now than they would have been with me. Because they're with my cousins. They're with cousins of mine. My cousin, my one cousin, they're with him and his wife. It turned out that they were unable to have children of their own. So there was talk about possibly adopting a child. When my case came up, the situation with my kids and whatnot, when they learned about it, they're like, 2 for the price of 1 type deal. They reached out to my dad's oldest brother, his oldest son is the cousin that him and his wife, they're the ones that ended up adopting my kids. They found out from my uncle about what was going on because with me and my kids. So then they reached out to my dad and asked him for more details of what was going on, because he knew what was going on, because my social worker kept going behind my back and talking to my dad. He had been doing that for years, apparently, going behind my back and talking to my dad about private and confidential information that was supposed to be just between him and I. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a little bitter when it comes to social workers because of how my case was treated. But at least the ministry here, they try really hard to keep the children within the family. So I will give them that. And my cousins were the only ones of a good age that were capable and willing to take the kids. They both have very well-paying jobs, so they weren't hurting for money, and that's the biggest reason why I knew my kids would be in good hands with them. And they're doing great, except they have been isolated from the social media. They've never been allowed to have like YouTube, Facebook accounts or anything like that. But I can totally understand why, because of who their father is and what he did, and trauma and whatnot. But they're doing good. And one of these days, I know one of these days, my daughter, most likely, Emily, will try reaching out. I've tried reaching out to my cousin, because he assured me that I would be allowed to have contact with the kids always, but then the ministry's like, well, as long as she's in contact with her ex-husband, with their biological father, she can't have contact with the kids. This was as the adoption process was being done. Before it was finalized, the ministry still had like final say. And my cousin, he just would not contact me. The first Christmas that my children were with them, my daughter did write a little Christmas letter to myself and to her big sister Brooke. Haven't had any contact with them since. My daughter Brooke apparently has, but she's not that big on reaching out to people. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm all done. And how much time? Oh, an hour. Okay. So I'm done. I'm going to upload this so that you can see it in all its glory. Let me move this out of the way. Move this out of the way. Move this out of the way. And go like this. Shut the light off. And oh my goodness, look at that. That's so pretty. It's so pretty and shiny and sparkly and oh, so lovely. Yes, very pretty. But yes, those are flowers. If you can, if you know what flowers they are, please post it in the comments below, because I'm a little bit of an artard when it comes to a lot of things. And I am being honest. I am a bit of an artard when it comes to a lot of things. So, in the meantime, I'm gonna go, and I'll see you in the next one.